Hi there everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Prestige Liquids. My name is Andrew, and as always it is fantastic to have you here with me again on another whiskey review video. Now, before we get started, recently I've been having a look at my YouTube analytics, and it turns out that about 82% of you that have been watching my videos so far are currently non-subscribers. So if you find that you are in that 82% bracket and you've been enjoying the content that's been coming out so far, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification right now so that you can stay up to date with all future content. Now, today I've got a very special whiskey for you, and this one comes from the Backwoods Distillery. Now, you may remember, say, from about a week or two ago, I had reviewed the Backwoods single malt. This one is the other release that came out with that release, and this is their Rye Whisky. So, a little bit of, I guess, background information. Backwoods is located in Yakandanda, which is a town in the Victorian high country of the state of Victoria. This particular release has had a mash bill of 60% rye, and then the rest of it was made up of barley, wheat, and also chocolate malt. One thing I would like to point out as well is that the rye that was used in this release is also the same heritage rye that was used in the Archie Rose San Diego rye malt. So if you have not been able to try that or seen any reviews yet, I'll pop a link up there as well so that you can also see my review of the Archie Rose San Diego rye malt. Now, this has been aged in French oak casks that previously held Australian Shiraz. It is non-chill filtered, natural colored, and bottled at 46%. I mean, just check that out. Absolutely beautiful. And by the way, this is also batch 1. So let's pour a little bit of this and let's see what we get. I was actually very lucky to be able to get a bottle of this because both of these releases were sold out within 24 hours, and I was very lucky to be able to have a friend that was able to find a bottle. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. All right, let's see what we get on the nose. Well, before we get to that, again, let's just point out that color. You've got this nice, just beautiful honey golden amber color, and yeah, just a bit of like light to medium legs just trickling down slowly on the glass right there. So you got a pretty like nice thick whiskey. All right, on the nose. Okay, so one thing I noticed when I had my first like neck pour of this is that I was not getting the typical like rye notes that I was expecting, especially after trying that the Archie Rose release that also used this same like strain of rye. Kind of going back to it, like the Archie Rose was like very minty, had a very strong like menthol note to it. This does not even come, like, I guess, close to how intense that particular flavor was. It does have a very like light mintiness that does come through, but you do have to search for it. But what it does have is very dominant earthy notes, barrel char, lots of, say, like bitter chocolate and coffee. I'm getting like burnt toffee. Yeah, lots of burnt sugar notes in there. Lots of white pepper coming through from the French oak. Yeah, it is a very earthy whiskey. Expect also like that type of sourness that you would get from a rye sourdough bread. It's quite like cakey in that sense. One thing that my partner actually pointed out, it actually, as soon as she nosed it yesterday, it just like took her back to when we were in Japan. It reminded her of when we were walking around in some of the old temples there that are all, like, a lot of these temples are all made out of wood. And as you walk through these places, you just get this like very like old, musty, dusty, woody note that as you're walking around a lot of these temples. And that was something that she picked up in this. So that was like an instant memory transportation right there. So that was pretty cool to see. Okay, actually, also, as it's opening up more, I'm also starting to get more like green apple, grapes, and pears. So definitely a lot of like subtle orchard fruits that come out as well. Okay, moving on to the palate. Let's see what we get. Cheers. Okay, so the palate, so much white pepper spice from the oak. It's very, those the alcohol characteristics are very prominent. You're going to get a nice like tongue tingle. You're going to get a little bit of burn as it goes down, but it's not horrible. It's like a mellow burn, if that makes sense. It's not something that's going to kill you as you're drinking it. Very malty, very dominant barrel char that's coming up. Again, those strong earthy chocolate notes are definitely coming through. This has probably been one of those whiskeys that has been the most like dark chocolate dominant that I have had so far. Again, you're getting all those caramelized sugars. No, there is a lot going on here. Okay, there's some very light honey sweetness coming in at the back end of the palate. Again, as I mentioned, that pepper, expect that pepper just to follow through pretty much at every stage as you sip this whiskey. So for each like other note that you're gonna get, you will also get like a punch of white pepper that comes through. I mean, I know for me that's something that I really enjoy. I don't know if a lot of other people, that might be a bit of a challenge for them. Again, and to say very light like apple sweetness coming through as well. The finish is really enjoyable actually. It has like a medium to long finish and it's quite smoky. I'm getting say there's like a lot of wood smoke coming up from the barrel, and again you've got that nice like rye and malty those nice rye malt notes that are just intermingling with that smoke and just creating this really nice and just everlasting finish. One thing that I had just remembered to add into my notes for the palate is that this is a very dry whiskey. It pretty much saps all the moisture from your mouth and then you just start salivating straight away. So guys, this is an absolutely fantastic whiskey. I'm very fortunate to have been able to get a bottle of both the single malt and the rye whiskey. I mean, I will point out for my own like personal opinion, between the two I did prefer the single malt, but this definitely comes in at a very, very close second. So guys, fantastic job. I cannot wait to see what else that you bring out underneath the, I guess, the Backwoods label, because yeah, I'm sure it's going to be absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to leave it at that. That's my review of the Backwoods Rye Whiskey, and I hope to see you all again on the next video. KIPPIS.